Global warming plagues the Earth, forcing its occupants to feverishly search for a solution. After vigorous research, scientists build climate modification towers to lower the Earth's temperature, which works well for a few years. However, after a few decades, these towers inadvertently cause uncontrollable snow, which soon brings about an ice age. To survive this environmental catastrophe, surviving humans build underground bunkers called colonies and retreat there. Thinking ahead to the future, each colony is equipped to store numerous seeds, hoping that they can use them to restart a new world. However, despite providing shelter and relief, the colonies struggle to control disease and to produce sufficient food.
When the food ran out, most of the people in the world died.
Inside one such colony, called Colony 7, soldiers named Briggs and Mason lead the residents with a strict list of laws, but often argue among themselves, as Mason usually comes down hard on people in the name of protecting the collective safety. One day, as a resident named Sam fixes the colony's satellite, he watches as Mason drives a sick man named Hal out of the colony and prepares to shoot him, as he has tested positive for the common cold, as the last flu outbreak wiped out about 20 occupants in a week. Hal begs Mason to keep him in quarantine a few more days and promises to get better, to no avail. Then, seeing as there's no changing Mason's mind, Hal recites his right to choose his fate and announces that he's prepared to wander off into the freezing snow. Mason disregards this and fatally shoots Hal, which outrages Sam. Later, the communication technician Cooper informs Briggs that he has received a distress signal from Colony 5, which he had checked in with a week ago. Concerned, Briggs calls a general meeting, explains the situation, and asks for 2 volunteers to join him as he goes to check on Colony 5.
All colonists, please report to the main hall in 30 minutes.
Briggs is joined by Sam and a teenage volunteer named Graydon. Then Briggs appoints Sam's girlfriend Kai to be in charge of the colony in his absence, infuriating Mason. Just as the meeting wraps up, a man named Dexter and his wife Elena start sneezing, which terrifies everyone. Fearing for their safety, the rest of the residents scatter away while Briggs and Mason escort the couple to quarantine.
Come on.
The next morning, Briggs, Sam, and Graydon leave the colony early to start their journey. On their way, the men explain to Graydon the events that led to the current disastrous environment, show him the weather towers responsible for it all, and narrate the legendary tales that reminisce of beautiful, clear blue skies, golden sun, and fresh, warm air.
So long ago that I can't remember the warmth of the sun. One day, it started to snow.
After traveling for a few hours in freezing temperatures, the trio reaches a dilapidated bridge and cautiously crosses it. However, once on the other side, they are mystified to see a couple frozen to death and wonder what they were doing, out in the harsh environment by themselves. The trio then continues their journey, and after another few hours, they reach an abandoned helicopter and decide to take shelter there for the night.
How cool would it be to fly one of these things, huh?
During the night, as the trio gets to know each other better, Sam narrates that he had been separated from his family as a young boy during a snowstorm and was luckily rescued by Briggs. The next morning, the trio start their journey early and reaches Colony 5 by noon. However, upon their arrival, the trio is terrified to see a trail of blood leading to the entrance and wonders what's going on.
Hey, what is this?
Despite Graydon's plea to return home, the trio marches forward, slowly climbs down the tower, and enters the colony.
You know, maybe one of us should just stay topside, huh?
It gets more horrifying inside as the trio sees that the floor is covered in blood. As they progress inside the soulless corridors of the bunker, it becomes obvious that something sinister has occurred and led to the bloodshed. A few minutes later, the trio hears some banging and cautiously follows the sound and finds a locked door. Sam picks the locks open, and as the trio enters, they find a terrified, starving man named Leland, who begs them to quickly lock the doors behind them. Then Leland shows them a partial transmission sent to Colony 5, in which a man excitedly announces that he and his men have successfully managed to modify a weather tower, thawed some ice, and found permafrost soil. The man adds that there's no sun over the thaw, offers help to anyone, and in exchange asks them to bring seeds so that they can be planted.
We now have soil. We have sun.
At the end of the transmission, Leland shows the trio the area where the transmission came from and narrates that a group of his fellow Colony 5 residents had gone on an expedition to find the thaw. However, the group fails to find the promised land, and to make matters worse, is followed back to the colony by a horde of cannibals who kill everyone and feed on them. After hearing Leland's account of the matter, Briggs decides to take him back to Colony 7 and prepares to leave. However, Leland refuses to join them and insists on staying locked in his room, as he believes the cannibals are still in the area.
Right here, behind this door. Why is they still here?
On Briggs' orders, Graydon drags Leland out of the room, but as soon as they reach the door, he jumps back inside and once again locks himself in.
Locked himself back inside.
Forced to leave Leland behind, the trio continues to explore the colony, reaches the source of the banging sound, and is utterly horrified to see a cannibal dismembering humans, surrounded by a horde of its kind, feeding on their prey and dozing off. Then one of the cannibals sees the trio, and as it marches towards them, Sam shoots it. This wakes the horde, who follow their leader's orders and angrily start chasing the trio.
Gotta go, Sam.
Shaken to their core, the trio runs for their life while shooting at their pursuers. Soon, Briggs throws a grenade, which causes a massive explosion and gives them momentary relief. Unfortunately, during this chaos, Graydon gets separated from the men and is brutally attacked. Briggs and Sam soon arrive on the scene and help Graydon fight off the animals. However, despite the men's best efforts to rescue the young man, he is brutally attacked and killed. Despite being heartbroken by the death of the teenager, the men are forced to go as more cannibals come for them. After breathlessly running to the ladder, Briggs and Sam climb up and unhook it so that the cannibals won't follow them. Then out of nowhere, a cannibal manages to reach Briggs and tries to attack him. However, Briggs calls upon his military training, defends himself well, and kills his attacker. Seeing this, the leader of the cannibals screams out in anger. Briggs and Sam then climb out of Colony 5 and, using a stick of dynamite, destroy the shaft of the tower, which collapses upon itself and demolishes Colony 5. After taking a moment to collect their breath, Sam and Briggs start their journey back to their colony while trying to make sense of everything that happened and trying to figure out what it means for the fate of the human population. After a few hours of traveling, the duo reaches the abandoned helicopter and takes shelter for the night. There, Briggs explains to the confused Sam that hunger and desperation can drive people to turn into animals and narrates that he had seen similar atrocities during the relief efforts. The next morning, as the duo prepares to continue their journey back, they are mortified to see that the cannibals have survived the explosion, have tracked their footprint in the snow, and are approaching them. Then, as the cannibals start gaining on them, Sam starts panicking as he fears leading them back to Colony 7. Soon, Briggs comes up with an idea to lead the animals to the bridge and attack them. To this effect, the duo runs as fast as they can and reaches the bridge, with the cannibals in tow. Then Briggs lights a dynamite stick and sets up a trap for their pursuers. However, soon, the duo notices the dynamite fuse going out.
No! What? The fuse is out!
Hoping to destroy the animals once and for all, Briggs sacrifices himself and returns to relight the fuse, but he's unfortunately attacked and killed in the explosion with many of the cannibals. Despite being heartbroken by losing Briggs and being totally exhausted, Sam continues on his way back to Colony 7. Meanwhile, in Colony 7, Mason drags the still sick Dexter and Elena out into the cold and cruelly shoots Elena in the name of protecting the safety of everyone else.
No more tests.
As Dexter becomes hysterical over this, Kai arrives and holds Mason at gunpoint and orders him to spare Dexter.
You know the test is bullshit. The delay just puts us all at risk.
A few minutes into this standoff, Kai spots an exhausted Sam walking towards them and rushes to help him. While Dexter uses this moment to escape Mason's wrath, Mason follows Kai, knocks her out, and imprisons her. A few hours later, Sam wakes up in the infirmary of his colony and relates what happened to Briggs and Graydon. Then Mason cuffs Sam to his bed, announces a change of command, and appoints himself the new leader of the colony. Sam then relays everything he knows about the cannibals, warns that they will soon come for them, and asks Mason to work together so that they can all head to the thaw as fast as possible. Attributing all of this to Sam's stress, Mason disregards everything. Later, Sam manages to free himself with the help of a young boy and rushes to free Kai.
Did he hit you?
I'm fine.
Sam then shows Kai the thaw on the satellite monitors, and the couple grabs as many seeds as they can and rushes to alert the others so that they can prepare for the journey ahead.
Oh my God. What are you doing?
We need to tell the others, and we need to get the hell out of here. Let's go.
However, soon the couple are held at gunpoint by Mason and his men. This standoff is soon interrupted by the cannibals, who arrive at Colony 7 and bang on the door, demanding to be let in. The residents prepare to defend themselves, but all hell breaks loose as the cannibals soon enter the colony and start killing many of the occupants. Mason is injured in the ensuing altercation. As a few survivors, including Sam, Kai, and Mason, lock themselves into a room, the cannibals soon follow them and attempt to break the doors.
We need to get the fuck out of here!
Sam quickly finds an escape route through a vent and goes through after guiding the survivors in. The wounded Mason stays back, and as the cannibals enter, shoots a gas cylinder, causing an explosion, which kills many of the cannibals except the leader, who jumps into the vent and attacks Sam. As Kai and a few of the survivors safely reach the surface, Sam is caught up in a fight with the cannibals' leader. After an intense fight, Sam brutally decapitates his enemy. Sam then rushes to the vent to join his girlfriend and the group. Then, with the seeds in hand, the group starts walking in the harsh, freezing wilderness to the thaw.